Hello, Aric.
Hi, Debbie. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. And I just want to thank you. I know that this is intended to be a field based show. Deb is supposed to do that with you where you normally shine and do it. It's okay because now you're also doing it from home.
That's correct. Yeah, this time we don't have to wear the masks because we've done the social distancing, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's extreme social distancing.
That's right.
Although I am for the safe distancing, even though I'm so used to hearing it. I hear some people say personal distancing. I think safe pretty much describes
That's the best way.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Aric, you are a hero to a lot of people. And I know we have a special group of people right now that we are all staying home to try and protect. And you help these people protect their money. And that's probably the most important thing you have at that age, other than your life. And it's a very valuable thing that you do. Aric Walker. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what you do,
Okay.
clients, just a brief overview, if you will.
Sure. So you hit the nail on the head there. The clients that I work with, the people that I work with, what we do, folks that are, say, 60 and older, 62, sky's the limit in age. We help them make sure that their money won't run out, that they won't get into their late 70s or 80s and then be a financial crisis. So we're dealing with how do you protect your money and how do you grow it and how do you have enough income and what kind of problems could arise. For example, if you have an individual or a couple, could they end up needing some kind of like help at home or help in a nursing home? We look at how do you deal with those issues? How do you afford getting that help? And everybody's picture is different, and some are more challenging than others, but everybody has something they can do to improve the picture. So we work on that, and we help people understand, okay, what do I do about Social Security? When do I take it? How does it work? What do I do about Medicare? When can I get it? How does it work? What options should I have? Should I change it? Is Joe Namath right on TV on those commercials? Should I call him? What should I do? So we look at a lot of different things to help our population who are, I would say, who are either in retirement or 10 years or less to retirement. I've helped some people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, but it's limited because you and I, Debbie, we're in that other age category, and we kind of probably want to take a little more risk while we're working with our money, and we want it to grow, and we're maybe a little more aggressive, especially the younger we are. And folks that are either in retirement or close to it, they're a little nervous about, gosh, I got to make sure I have it, and whatever I've got, whether it's as much as I want or not, I've got to make sure it doesn't disappear. So that's kind of the nutshell of the things that my firm and that I work on with people.
Yeah, that's great. And how do you find it? Uh, I guess we'll start with yourself, perhaps. How is it now that you're? I know, yeah, our lives haven't changed hugely because we generally we're home based anyway. But how is it like long term? With your family, and you're there more than ever, and on the phone a lot more. Is that an easy road for you?
It's a challenging road for my business because um, people who are either getting in retirement or preparing for it, they like to meet face to face with somebody. We have lots of people who have come to us, who have met me and my business partner who we work with, that maybe they met us at a seminar that we did, either at a restaurant or a library. And of course, nobody wants to go out to a meeting of lots of people right now. It's kind of scary. It's like, I don't even like to go to the store when it's busy. I go early in the morning or late at night. I pump my gas this morning, and I always do that early in the morning. And then I never touch my face or anything. It's all this, we need to be careful of this virus. And so with clients, it's the same kind of thing. So what we're doing right now, a webinar where we can look at each other face to face, and we can see those visual cues. We do that with some clients. Some of our clients have said, well, we'll get together after it's safe again. And that's fine. And then some of them we talk to over the phone. Usually that's people that we've been working with for years. And so they either don't care about doing the visual thing like we're doing right now, or they're fine just talking over the phone. So it just depends on the comfort level of the client. I have met with a few clients in their home, and a few have come to my office. We are like everybody else. We want to make sure I say to them, hey, have you had any sickness in the last 2 or 3 weeks? I tell them my wife's a type 1 diabetic. I can't share any of that sickness or potential sickness. So if you had, we have to do it over the phone or computer. If not, then when they come in, we wear the masks, and we're very careful not to touch and to keep the 6 feet distance. It's awkward, but it's all about how are we going to be successful for the long term for them and for us.
In fact, I think that if everyone is safe in the way that they conduct their business and activities, I think that fewer people would need to stay home if we can somehow guarantee that. And we'll also change our lifestyle so we're not overusing things with such consumerism. We
Yeah.
do have quite a decadent society, and I think that is a huge problem. And I don't know, some of these states that are opening up already, and I don't know how it will go. I think if they all have the right attitude, because they are not in urban areas like we are, if they still engage in safe practices, they might be okay anyway. But that's the question. You know, when I saw all those protesters in Olympia last weekend, oh my gosh, I mean, and I only saw this on the news, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't go there. Although I thought, oh, I should go there. I bet you there's someone there who will cut my hair. And I saw her on the screen, and there were no masks, there was nothing. And you can't distance when you're cutting hair, but you can be safe at least. And I'm just thinking, these people just have no sense of caution, and they want the right to go out and spread a germ that could possibly kill everyone. And it's our choice whether or not we want to accept it. And I think that I understand if you want to be responsible and you want to go back to work. I understand that. And I think that's a reasonable thing to want. But I don't think it's reasonable to just throw caution to the wind, science out the window. You really have to carefully control and manage something like this. And you have to have people all together as one.
I agree. I think that if you will take every measure to be safe, you reduce the opportunity for you or anybody else to get sick. Well, let me do a transition for you. So this transition, we've been talking about safety. I'm going to talk about how I help people that are older with safety. So I'm going to do a little screen share here. It'll take a moment for this thing to get to the proper size. So it should pop up here in a second, I think. It's buffering as it does its little job. So can you see on the screen something that says, what does an income asset look like?
I see it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, let's take an example. In 2008, the stock market did a meltdown in about middle of the year. Now, that was a surprise to everybody, just about everybody. It was something that we had kind of a lead up towards. Late part of 2007, the market started going down, and people with their retirement funds were starting to lose money. Now, we who lived through that know that intimately. And if I go back to my own situation, I was changing jobs and I had a 401k. And at that point, I saw in December of 2007 to February of 2008, I saw my 401k lose about 20% value. And since I was changing careers, I was very nervous. So it'd be kind of like the person who is getting ready to retire, seeing what happened this year with the coronavirus financial meltdown. So I was in that mode of saying, what can I do? And I did some research. And in about February of 2008, I moved away from all stock market type stuff, which is stocks and bonds and mutual funds, to something that was safer. So if you can see on the screen here, here's the history of the market and the market results. For this says 1999, there were some down years and then some up years, and then we see this huge cliff. This was about February right here of 2008, and then in about June or July of that year, the market just took a dive, and so people lost another 30 or 40% generally. Not everybody, but a lot of people, and they didn't realize that could happen to them because we hadn't seen this kind of major thing in a long time. 2001, here we have the 2001, 2001, and the terrorist attacks here, and we see some losses. And then we see some rebound and some growth, and that's great. But if you're in retirement or heading close to it, you don't want to see this downturn.
No. I mean, if you retired right in there and you have to cash out any of your stocks to survive, you
don't recover financially.
You don't.
And so what we do is we help people say, okay, when the market does this downturn, let's just stay even. Let's not lose anything. We won't gain, but we won't lose. And then when the market starts going up, we don't gain all the gains, but we lock in our gains every year. And we're ahead of the market by doing that. By not participating in the losses, we're ahead of the market. So we do that. Now, this other line is a kind of a cool one. This is more for the people that are, hey, I'm right on the edge of retiring, or I'm within the next 10 years of retiring, and I want to have some of my money in the market because look at these gains. These gains are nice, but I want to have some of my money guaranteed to provide me income, and I want to lock in those gains every year. I want some guarantees. So that's what my company helps people do. So a portion of what we do is, hey, how do we make sure it's safe, and how will it not lose money in the future?
Yeah, that's very good to know. And I want to stress that I think it's important to do this, to start thinking about these things at least 10 years ahead of when you want to access your money, when you want to retire.
Yeah, the longer you have, the better you can tweak things. It's kind of like, I'm not very good with cars, but when I want to go on a long trip and I want to have my car and I'm going to drive it thousands of miles, I'm going to go to the mechanic first and I'm going to tell him, give me a good tune-up on this thing. Make sure everything's working well. And I'm not going to do it at the last second. I'm going to do it well in advance, a couple of weeks in advance. So if there's a problem, they get the parts, they get everything done. I don't want a timing belt to go out on me when I'm, 10 hours into a drive on the highway and I'm in somewhere rural where it's going to be hard to get the parts, and I'm going to have to walk for an hour and a half or 2 hours to get to us somewhere to get help. I want that done well in advance. So that's a good point.
Yeah. And I've also heard, well, I've seen in 2008, I thought, well, it's a good thing I didn't retire now. And I thought, well, what if I did? And my company or your 401k, you're forced to stay in that program. And I know they have a variety of funds, but you really don't have control over any of them. And when you're limited to your employer's funds, I think that potentially, I think that could be a problem for somebody who's going to retire, and especially if they don't provide matching. I would suggest that they not participate in the 401k for the company, because it's a lot more expensive as well. Can you say
Many of
anything
them,
to that?
yeah, many of them are more expensive. There are some that are not, but you make a very valid, important point. So I'll give you an example. If I have my money managed through Fidelity or Vanguard or Ameriprise, there's other companies where it's very expensive. Or if I'm a federal employee or a state employee, the cost of those things, the retirement plans, super low to the employee, which is great. I love that. And like you said, when I'm working and I get that match, I should take advantage of that. Take that quote unquote free money that is coming into my retirement account. But you also made an excellent point of when I'm no longer with that employer, whether I'm in retirement or whether I'm just changing jobs, there should be more options. The whole world is your smorgasbord.
Huh. Now, you also have another life on the side, I'm sure.
Oh no, I mean, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us what you do when you play.
Well, I have a lot of hobbies, or a couple of hobbies. One of my hobbies is playing the drums in a cover band. I enjoy doing that. It's great. We're kind of on hiatus right now because of the virus, because the band has a bass guitarist, a rhythm lead guitarist, a lead singer, a keyboard player, and myself on drums. So that's 5 of us. And our practice room is about the size of my living room. It's about, let's say, 15 by 15. So we're crammed into a small environment. And maybe if we had a large environment, we'd still be practicing. But right now, we don't feel it's safe. The lead singer, not the lead singer, excuse me, the lead guitarist and the bass guitarist both have some kidney function. So they're high-risk individuals. So we don't want them to get sick. So what I'm doing right now for that is I'll call up the guitarist every couple of weeks and say, hey, because my drums are over at his house in the practice area. I'll say, hey, can I come by and just practice alone? And he'll say, sure. So I'll go by for 45 minutes to an hour and work on things that I'm actually practicing at home without my drum set. You can work on your feet. You can work on different things. You can work on rhythms. I can go to YouTube and learn how different things are done. Some things I can do without sitting at the actual set and actual
And
work.
you can actually probably use a book as a drum just to practice
You can, or I can use
rhythms.
my leg, because you don't have to hit things very hard. It's mainly knowing where to move and how to put things together. And then it's working on your feet. It's working on your hands a little bit. So you can do that. So I do a little bit of that. And so I'm doing that. The other thing I'm doing is I go on usually a 2 or 3 mile walk. And I'll just, put YouTube on, put my headphones on, and go out there and walk as fast as I can for 3 miles, just to get a change of scenery, just to kind of get some mental health, and to try to maintain my leg strength and all that, so that when the day comes that it's safe again to do things we like to do with other people, like sports or other things, that I'm still in pretty good condition. Well, I think that you will see some team sports come out here in the next, professional team sports come out here in the next bit. And I think that if they really want to be successful with it, they need to limit the amount of time they're going to do the sport, limit the season, and they need to quarantine them and say, look, you come here and you're doing your job. It's like if you went to work on an oil rig out in the ocean, you're there for like 2 weeks. So you're kind of like quarantined. Well, these professional athletes, maybe they should be quarantined in an area where they do their sport for, I don't know, 2 months or whatever, and then they're
Rather than
done.
have, well, I think the big issue though is they have away games. They're playing teams all over the place.
Yeah, they need to not
But
do that.
I really find that the biggest thing I am not into these kinds of sports, but the biggest reason why is because watching it on TV is boring. The only thing that makes the players want to do it and the people want to watch it is being there and being in the crowd. And without that, the sports are going to die.
Well, I'm one of the nuts that absolutely loves, for example, basketball. So I'll watch it even if there is no crowd because I want to see the moves and the things they're doing. I want to see the skill level. I want to see the competition. I want to see the trash talking. But I think that what they need to do is they need to be in a facility where they can have all the teams and they're quarantined and they just go do their event and they're stuck there for the next 2.5 months and they're
They
going to do,
definitely need to restructure it
yeah,
to eliminate. I mean, all that travel
no
is
travel.
what is the problem here. Is
Yeah, no
they're
travel
traveling
because,
all these places with all these people, and it's right. That's why the quarantine. You know, when you come back to the U.S. from abroad, you're supposed to quarantine yourself, and you know, when you get off the plane, they don't check.
you're on your honor to do it.
You're supposed to know that by watching news. They don't even tell you. It's happened like all these people I've been watching and talking to that have just been totally surprised. What? That they're not telling us that we're supposed to stay quarantined or anything? I mean, it's just weird.
Oh yeah.
Every other place you go, you have to get a health certificate. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a hodgepodge. Each state is going to do whatever they're going to do.
Well, not with international, I don't think.
No, but
Yeah.
if you think about it, each state is looking at it differently. And that's
Yeah. No.
probably fair because what happens in Wyoming,
Different populations. I mean, yeah, but Montana, those they live so far apart. You're not really going to get each other sick. It's a different environment, and
it is.
that's something that I mention a lot. But I hear people don't really consider, particularly when you watch the news. They'll talk about, oh, how many cases there are in the United States, and I'm thinking, well, why are you lumping the whole United States together? Because first of all, maybe Idaho has 3,000 cases and Washington might have 15, but which is worse? You really don't know unless you live in those states. You don't know what that means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you look at New York or New Jersey or Connecticut or some of these huge metropolitan areas, and yeah, they got a bigger problem than places like Tacoma, Seattle, or
Yeah.
places like Cheyenne, Wyoming. Yeah.
Even Washington State, where it started, you know, we escaped pretty good. I think we did great dealing with this, and whether it's the you know, the stay home, people being safe, just a combination of everything. I know as early as March, even way before the stay home order was in place, things were already being canceled. People were already working from home. It was already happening. And I don't think it was a big shock to anyone. Um, and I think that we have a good governor, and I'm
Yeah,
content
I think
there.
it's made a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. You got to be decisive, and you have to be smart, and you have to know the people that you are representing, the population, not the population that you're working with. And you know, the state's a very individual thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Well, do you have webinars now usually going on?
We do. We what we're doing is we're, like I said before, we're sending out mailers to different people. Some of them are current customers, some of them are new people that are in our target age group, and we invite them to reach out to us, and we set up a webinar to where they can do what you and I are doing right now. We'll have a PowerPoint that goes through different information that's of benefit to them. And then if they like the information, we will say, hey, let's set up a web meeting, so that we can help them move forward.
And if someone was interested in checking that out, how would they contact you?
Well, what they would do is they would contact me, my phone number or my email address. My phone number is 253-677-2035. Or my email address is awalker, that's AWALKER, at the, Thomas, THOMAS, group, WA.com. So call or email and we'll set up information to help people out. Or they can go to our website, which is thomasgroupwa.com, and tell us, just hit contact us. So lots of different ways to reach out to people.
Great. And you're also on Facebook too, right?
Yeah, I just have a personal Facebook, and you can see how my name is spelled. It's kind of weird. It's ARIC. But yeah, I'm on Facebook, and you could send me a thing saying, hey, I saw that information. How do we touch bases? I have some clients that do that. Now, because of the stay at home and be safe type environment that we're living in, I'm on my Facebook a couple of times a day. When we were not always forced to stay at home so much, I might be on Facebook once or twice a week, but now it's like every day. I'm just kind of using it to be entertained.
I really need to do that more. It's really funny. I'll be sitting down, not doing anything, and I think, oh, I should probably check Facebook. It's been a couple of days, and I don't know why I just don't do it. I'm just not into it. I don't know. But I need to be there. That's how I keep in touch with people. And
it's a great way to stay in touch and to be entertained also. Yeah, I get entertained by some of the political things. Yeah. I get entertained by some of the music I like, and just people make me laugh, and so I like it for that.
I agree. There are some pretty entertaining political posts.
I do a few myself. I mimic certain people. I won't go into that now, but I mimic people that are really easy to mimic.
Yeah. I've actually seen some pretty funny things. One of them, I swear to God, it was a joke from The Onion, maybe a video, but I don't know. But in the end, the poster and all of the friends were taking it seriously, and I just thinking, okay, I'm not even going to bother trying to refute this. This is
yeah. Sometimes I just kind of step back and go, you know what? I don't want to step on that landmine, even though I thought it was funny. And then sometimes I step on the landmine.
Yeah, I've done that too.
It's kind of like, well, whatever. I'm just going to have a good time sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Aric Walker. Thank you for letting Deb do that with you. I didn't get to do it with you for real, but it's real enough. And
well, I appreciate the opportunity, and it was fun talking with you. You have a great rest of the week and a great weekend.
Awesome.